Well, hey there, everybody. It's Carpo again. I was just about to finish up a video here, and then I saw this figure walk across my yard. I was just about to say I got through the whole video without sirens. They're coming. They're coming. This has been an ongoing thing on my channel for years. It's great. But anyway, somebody came across the yard and I had to go abruptly and end my video. It was about how politics have affected YouTube and how it's changed over the years and where authenticity is gone. But I never got to really get to some of the meat of it. I'm not going to do that here, but my topic is rather going to be what happened, which is a person in a green zip-lee fiber, you know, jacket, reflective jacket, is walking across my yard. Couldn't tell that at the time. I just saw something colorful in my yard. And so I naturally had to end abruptly and went through the house, and I went to the front door and I saw this girl just standing there kind of looking off to the side, and I answered the door. I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was in the back. If you knocked." She's like, "Oh, no, 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 I hadn't knocked yet. I was just looking at your bus. I was admiring your bus. Oh, it's so awesome." And I have a school bus, and everybody comments on it. Anybody who comes to the door, it's kind of their like talking point, especially if they're trying to sell me something. But anyway, this time it was like, she's like, "Yeah, I'm with Ziply Fiber," and and she's like stumbling on her words, and then she's probably young, probably like 19, 20, and she just kind of like has this Red Bull in her hand. She's like, "I'm sorry, I'm on my third Red Bull today." I'm like, "Slow down, girl." She's like, "I know." I was like, she's like, "They're so good." I said, "I know, but just be careful. Too many energy drinks are not good." But continue. And she's like, "Okay," like trying to gather her thoughts. She's like, "We're going to be putting in a line in your neighborhood. We're going to be doing construction, basically something in the street." She said they're going to be marking out where they're going to be cutting into the street. And then she talked about putting in a fiber optic line, but then she also said they're going to be putting one overhead. So I was confused as to what exactly she meant. Like if they're doing one underground or overhead, it's usually one or the other. But that they're going to mark it out, and they just have to let all the neighbors know they're going to be doing it. And when it's marked out, they'll leave more information. And if you have any questions, let us know. I was like, okay, cool, no problem, no problem. But there's something in the back of my mind who says, "Wow, is this person really not going to sell me anything?" And then at the very last second, after like 5 minutes of talking about how they're going to do this, I was like, "Cool, man, just, they'll let me know." And she's like, "Yeah, all right, yeah. And we're just giving out the free boxes to all the neighbors. What's a good name to give, put on the slip?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't need a box." She's like, okay, well, thank you, and have a good day." And I sat there and I was thinking, I'm well aware of what she's trying to do. She's going to give me a Ziply fiber box, right? It's free. Of course it's free. And then they send it with, "Well, here's the instructions, and here's what you have to pay to sign up for it. And by the way, if you don't return the box within a certain time, you get charged for it, yada, yada." I was like, I don't need a random box. Like, you haven't told me anything about your service, your company, what you do, how well your internet works compared to other providers. Look, I'm sure it's fine, but I'm like, that is the sneakiest, most conniving shit. And I've heard them all. Like, people come to my door all the time. My no soliciting sign is gone because it got covered up when I put up some new siding. So I need to put a big one right on the front. But I don't want to be that guy. I like talking to people. I actually enjoy a good conversation. And I don't want people to be scared off if they're just, selling Girl Scout cookies or something. I'll buy Girl Scout cookies. So, yeah, that's a pretty sneaky sales pitch, to just pretend like they're informing the neighbors and putting in a new line. But by the way, we're sending you a box. Like, what are you talking about? What box? What kind of box? And when I said I don't want a box, she didn't even like explain it or anything. She's just like, "Oh, okay," and knew that I know what's going on. But I'm like, one time when I needed a job, and there have been some times in history where I've needed a job, and I've done construction and made good money, but I wanted to get out of it. So I went and tried to work for this alarm company. if you know anything about alarm companies, I'm sure you've either had one at your door or maybe went to one of their seminars. But you go, you don't even get paid for it. It's like you have to go to this training thing first. And all they do is sit up there with their whiteboards and their marketing bullshit and say, you can make this and this and this. You only make commission. You know, you're basically signing up to make money off of what you sell. Fuck commission. I don't care if you're a good salesman. Here's the thing. A product needs to sell itself. You don't need to have a society where salesmen try to push something on people if they don't want it. This is the dumbest fucking thing we've done. This is Consumerism 101. This is what Edward Bernays, who was the nephew of Sigmund Freud, and Edward Bernays is the guy who got people to smoke, you know, and after the war became, you know, made consumerism a thing. Americans didn't always buy shit we didn't need. That started as a plan to get people to buy shit they don't need. And I just think about dollar stores and all the crap that we buy, and it's just, it's gross. You know, it's gross. But I guess I'm trying to get over it, my kind of disgust with waste. I have a major problem with things not getting reused or used as long as possible. But then there's part of me that says, everything falls apart, whatever. Make the most of it. I mean, we're probably fucked anyway, right? Hopefully not. You know, I hold out hope that humanity will recover from our transgressions and finally see the light. And that means we'll have to let down our guard and be humble. Let down our ignorance and our arrogance and just be normal people for a while. That's hard. It's hard to get everyone to do it at once. And maybe a cloud of MDMA from a volcano or something would do it. I don't know. LSD in the water supply was Timothy Leary's, I think, one of his ideas. I've always thought that was funny, but also doable. Like, it could be done, kind of thing. But that's not fair. You got to get the dose right. It's a joke, of course. But anyway, marketing. Getting back to marketing. The amount of weird shit I've been sold, you know, just like anyone else, it's uncountable. But the people who come to your door tend to fit into one of a few categories. The alarm salesman, which is much rarer than the roofing salesman. Then there's the kind of general contractor, siding, and then there's the window guy. Like, the window dudes and the roofing guys are probably the most common. And I ended up replacing all my front windows because I was just sick of them coming. We needed new windows, but I also was just like, I'm going to do these first because then they can't see that we need new windows, because they were those old aluminum ones. And now they come by and talk about the roof, and I say, oh, I used to be a roofer, you know, just to get them to go away. And it doesn't work, you know. They still try to talk you into it. And I was a roofer when I started at like 18 or something. It was like one of my first construction jobs. Worked there for like a year, maybe two years, doing tear-offs in the rain, putting tarps up. I've been through the ringer on that shit. It was hard work. And then I got into remodeling, which was hard as well, but at least more rewarding. Then I got into finished carpentry. Then I fucked my back up. Now I'm back in. Then I did tiny homes. Now I'm back into carpentry again. Kind of general remodel. But I'm stronger than ever. I actually had to do a frame out this bait. It was like a crawl space, but it's like 10 feet high because it's on a hill. It's a fancy area out in Washougal, Washington. And build these 3 platforms inside the crawl space over the plastic so they could store all their stuff. And then replace a half door with the full-size door, and then cut the siding back, and then put new trim in around the door, and then paint it. And so yeah, I did that today, and well, this week. What was the point to that? I had a purpose for bringing up work. Never bring up work off of work. But I don't know. Couldn't tell you what it is. I'm sure it'll come to me. What a weird life. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. The other people who come to my door are often... I don't usually get... I mean, when my parents were young... Let's put it this way. I have a set of fucking cooking pans in there. They're called Lustercraft. My parents bought those in the 70s, or I think early 80s, when I was like 5 years old. And they bought them off a roving pan salesman. Seriously, I mean, back in the 80s, people walked around and sold these things door to door. Just like the 2 cedar chests I have, which are Asian. They're carved with all that intricate stuff. And they bought 2 of them, a medium and a small one. One was my dad's, one was my mom's, and I inherited them both when they died. And those things are, to think about selling a chest, or pans door to door today is just hilarious. But let me tell you, the point is, I still use those fucking pans. Those saucepans I use all the time. They're stainless steel, like I think a copper core. They were some of the best pans for the time. They're so easy to clean, still today. Like, I've bought stainless steel pans since then that don't even compare. I'm sure the metals are different. Whatever it is, these pans will literally last a lifetime. The handle hasn't fallen off. It's made of kind of like a Bakelite feeling type of plastic, like a really heavy duty plastic. And the bolts don't come loose on them. I think one time a screw came loose on one of the handles and I just tightened it up. I love old stuff. It's the same way with a lot of old tools or stereo equipment or musical instruments. They're just built well, but it depends on which era. There were some shitty ones too. I don't know. There was a golden era. But when these people walked around and sold these products, they were selling a product they could stand behind, is the point. They were selling a product that they could say, I know the customer will enjoy this and that it will work for them. So salesmen weren't shady so much as they're considered now. Even a car salesman or a used car salesman back in the day at one time was, somebody who would help you get a good car. They might get a commission. You knew that. Everything was fair and straight up. Nowadays, it seems like the way the business world works is that you just get what you can. You lie your ass off. And that to me is like the worst type of business. The reason I stopped selling Kratom and started construction again, even though I make better money in selling Kratom and it's less work, is because the quality had gone downhill. I couldn't get the product cheap enough. I had a source for it cheap, but it wasn't as good. And I just didn't want to sell something that wasn't up to par. Even today, I can't find shit that's that good, and it sucks. I still take Kratom. I buy it from the store. I feel stupid. I need to find a good source to buy some kilos, for my friends and family and people I know. But I was thinking about starting to sell that again, but only if it's a good product, and that's the thing. If people would just sell a good product, then, and if they know it's a bad product, don't fucking sell it. Sometimes you have to take a loss, okay? I mean, I actually have like 5 kilos of Kratom in there. I just didn't like the quality. It tastes like shit. So there it sits, right? For like 3 years. I don't want to pass on my failure to my customers no matter what I do. And it's unfortunate because even in construction, I've eaten my costs a lot of the time. I'm like, oh, if I fuck this up or whatnot. But even just giving people discounts and just trying to be nice to people, Because I'm kind of a dick sometimes, but I'm nice in my own way. Like, I guess I'm not a dick. I just stand up for myself, and that makes me come across as a dick. Like the guy that in a big pickup that was honking at me from 4 lanes over, road raging me the other day because I didn't let him in my lane when he tried to just cut me off, basically forced me to slam on my brakes. So I just held my ground, and he got all pissy about it. It's like, guys like that. Anyway, he's a consumer. He bought a big old pickup. So I'm going to wrap this up by saying consumerism is killing us. Metaphorically and literally. We buy shit that we don't need. Just the vast amount of pharmaceuticals and cosmetics that have caused damage, internal and external damage to the body. It's astronomical, or death, and it doesn't mean that there aren't good discoveries. It just means some of them suck and people hide it. So if anything, I want to give to me, I guess, my opinion is that I think honest business practices should always be upheld. And I don't think people are really ignorant of their lies and bullshit in business quite often. They do it on purpose. And I think that's shameful, should be ridiculed. Those people should be made fun of and be made, to feel horrible. People who sell a product they know is faulty or bad should be made to feel like horrible human beings. But instead they are propped up and somebody buys the next product. I've come to the conclusion truth doesn't matter, but that's another video altogether. That, it's actually kind of a relief, people. I've realized how simple-minded people really are as humans, and how easy it is to fool us, me included. But I don't buy consumer goods. I've been to Goodwill 3 times this week, but I haven't been to a department store in years. I go to Fred Meyer for food and stuff, but clothes shopping, I went and bought a pair of Carhartts about a month ago. Then I went and bought another pair a week or 2 later, a brown pair. Loved them, but the zipper didn't work. So I took them back, got my money back, and then just never got another pair. And I was like, oh my God, I was too cheap to buy what I already bought, is what it was. If I was rich, I'd buy 5 pairs. Then I'd have one every day of the week. But instead, I wear these 4 times a week. It doesn't matter. I have long johns under them. They're work clothes. You wear them to work. And they're meant to get dirty, even though I tried to clean them off. But another story altogether. Anyway, I'm rambling. This is it's 60 degrees today. 65, I think. It was 64 when I was coming home. And in Portland, that's summer for late February, and I am loving it. So I'm gonna take the dog to the park. Yeah, you wanna say hi, Lucy? We wanna go to the park? All right, then maybe we'll do that. And I'll talk to you all later. And goodbye to all the consumers out there. If you're one of the people who buys a lot of stuff, I'm not trying to diss you. If you find joy in it, if it's something that moves you, so be it. But I have to say, no amount of consuming anything has ever made me happy. It's a fleeting emotion. And I'd much rather live kind of day to day, enjoying the moment, and working towards a future than living in the now to the point where I'm just spending all my money every check on fucking Gucci or some bullshit. It's amazing how many people spend money they don't have. But that's their choice. Hey, Luce. Now she's all excited. All right, we're heading out. Right, Luce? Yeah. We'll see y'all soon. Be well. Peace out.